Hello everyone, it's Laffy Traffy. Today it is a special day as I just wanted to make a Jinbei appreciation video. It's been a while since he's been in the series, and especially in the anime where he just came back and is officially joining Luffy's crew, and in the manga he's doing crazy stuff. I just thought that this would be a great time to just take a look into Jinbei's character and where he started, where he is now, and every way that he's helped Luffy and how integral he is to this crew, and just how happy we should be that he is officially part of the crew now. Just so you know and are aware, this is an anime-only friendly video. There will only be a small section of manga spoilers, which will be clearly marked, so if anyone has not caught up to the manga and is just watching the anime weekly, then you are welcome here because we're mostly going to be looking at what Jinbei has accomplished up until now. So you're safe, no spoilers. But yeah, Jinbei is just an awesome character, and I feel like he just doesn't get talked about enough, so here we are, this little video just to look at everything that Jinbei is and remind everyone how awesome he is. This video will be broken up into 4 main sections. One, we'll look at his early life and what he did in Fisher Tiger's backstory. 2, we'll look at his more recent and current place in the One Piece world as a whole. 3, just him as a person, his skills, his character traits, and all the reasons that he is just a great character. And last, we're going to look at all of the ways that he and Luffy have been together, how he has helped Luffy tremendously in Luffy's adventure, and everything that he brings to the crew now. So let's get started. Starting off about Jinbei's early life, this was something that I had to be reminded of, that Jinbei didn't always have such a calm and diplomatic approach when it came to fisherman and human relations. He was actually very tainted by his impressions of the pirates that would come to Fishman Island and attack people and steal fishermen away as slaves along with mermaids, and a lot of really awful things. His interactions with humans were really just those really shitty pirates that came to Fishman Island, so he, like Fisher Tiger and Arlong, all had a very deep-seated resentment with humans, rightfully so, for what they've seen. He grew up as an orphan in the Fishman district alongside Arlong and Fisher Tiger, and there they kind of ruled the roost. Fisher Tiger was a little bit of a boss, you know, the mob boss type thing, a lot like Odin. But Jinbei was his right-hand man. Once he grew out of the Fishman district, he enrolled in the Neptunian army, where he played a big role in protecting Orihime as she would go out and present her desire for the fish people and merfolk to be above the waters, to live on the surface with humans, and she desperately tried to convince people that their interactions with humanity were limited and often the darker side of humanity, which Jinbei very much agreed with. However, he did not share the same hope that Orihime did. With all of her reasoning and her desperation to get people to see the light, he would talk about how he didn't agree with her platform, kind of dismissed her teachings, but it was his duty in the Neptunian army to protect her. And so he did, and he took that very seriously. He just didn't share her values when it came to humans. He really hated pirates, which is a detail that I forgot about, and just shows how close he was with Fisher Tiger, that when Fisher Tiger came back from one of his long journeys, Jinbei joined his crew when Fisher Tiger asked, along with Arlong, Hachi, a lot of those fishmen that we see later in Arlong Park and that were part of the Sun Pirates today. Even in his early stage of being part of Fisher Tiger's crew, he still hated humans and he was brutal and ruthless in attacking them, and it wasn't until Fisher Tiger really put his foot down with him and Arlong. Yeah, Jinbei was just as ruthless as Arlong is. Arlong never changed, Jinbei luckily did, but this was a whole side of Jinbei that I completely forgot about, and maybe that's on me, maybe you remembered this, but I had it in my head that Jinbei had always been more more reasonable. But no, I mean, he had pretty strong feelings about humans, and I think that honestly makes him even more interesting of a character, that he started as Arlong, and we see what Arlong happened, you know, what happens to Arlong when you don't have character development. And then you see Jinbei, who had his stance on humans back then, and then he transformed to the character he is now. But Fisher Tiger had a lot to do with that. He made the rule that no fishmen on his crew were to ever kill a human. They could beat him up, steal from them, do regular pirate things, but he would not take a human life. Arlong and Jinbei very much disagreed with this, but Jinbei had a little bit more of a controlled temper than Arlong did. They both did listen to him out of respect for Fisher Tiger. Jinbei was slowly coming to the realization that Fisher Tiger had, that fighting fire with fire does not often work in their benefit, and this rivalry between the fishmen and the humans will only persist throughout the generations, and their children and the humans' children will all just hate each other for their actions, so they need to put a stop to that cycle of death, pretty much. And Jinbei, luckily for us, Jinbei did find it within him to see Fisher Tiger's side and continue on without the ultra hatred of humans. It was a journey, though. I mean, it took several years. And all of this, you know, progression of ideals all came to a head when Koala was saved and taken upon by Fisher Tiger to take to her hometown. So they took Koala on board. Arlong just despised her. Arlong was not doing great with the whole, you know, maturing ideas type of thing, but Jinbei had. Jinbei was still on the cusp, but he was learning from Fisher Tiger of what's the right thing to do in these situations. It was basically the whole crew getting along with Koala, well, except for Arlong, that Jinbei started to see that fishmen were not the only ones to suffer at the hands of the celestial dragons. It wasn't humans versus fishmen, it was more celestial dragons versus everyone else. They were the problem, not humans. It was just the celestial dragons, and he saw that in Koala, where she was clearly suffering at the hands of slavery, just like they were. They were no different. And I love that Koala's presence on the Sun Pirates ship was such a vital experience in Jinbei's life to progress him towards his worldview now. And as Fisher Tiger passed away due to the unfortunate circumstances with Koala's hometown and humans being humans, and Fisher Tiger just couldn't let his resentment go as much as he should have. He couldn't stand the thought of blood of humans within him, that he did pass away, and Jinbei took the position as captain after Fisher Tiger's passing. He promised to carry on the will of Fisher Tiger as to not kill any humans and lead the Sun Pirates as Fisher Tiger would have liked. And that brings Jinbei to who he is today. Between Fisher Tiger and Koala, Jinbei became the man that we know today, and is basically a representative for fishmankind for the surface, because he became a warlord and everything. We'll get into that more later, but everything in Fisher Tiger's backstory showed the dynamic views of Jinbei throughout his early life, leading to who he is today. Our next discussion point is how vital Jinbei is to the world of One Piece today. First off, like we just discussed, he sailed with Fisher Tiger. Fisher Tiger made a mark on history with how he set free the slaves, how he was one of the only, if not the first, in recent memory, fishmen to start a pirate crew full of fishmen and sail the seas. He was such an integral part to Fisher Tiger's crew that he actually became captain after Fisher Tiger passed away, and he held on to the belief system of never killing a human and continuing the cycle of hatred. Then he became a warlord. He was offered the position as a warlord, and at first, everyone in the Sun Pirates was saying, what a joke, laugh at their face, there's no way we're gonna become a warlord, we're never gonna work under the human government, right? But Jinbei had other plans, and he actually accepted the position of warlord so that he could continue the relations of fishmen and humans, and eventually save Arlong from when he was captured. But he became a warlord, and he became a representative of the fishmen on the surface, trying to increase the relations there. So he played a big part in the world as just becoming one of the warlords. That's not easy. Next, he contributes to the world of One Piece by protecting Fishman Island. Him becoming a warlord gave all of the previous Sun Pirates who wanted to retire from the pirate life a pardon, so that they would be safe. He served in the Neptunian army when he was younger, so he was always more of a lawful person when it came to protecting Fishman Island. He has very good relations with the royal Neptunian family, as they all recognized him. They all knew him very well, of course they did. But it shows that he was always such a good person with the history of Fishman Island and protecting it and serving it. And then part of the reason that he didn't participate in the War of the Best is that the destruction of Whitebeard would bring destruction to Fishman Island, who Whitebeard had been protecting with his name. So he didn't want to fight, on top of other reasons that we'll get to, with Whitebeard himself being a respectable person, and Ace. But a big part of it was that Jinbei did not want to fight against Whitebeard for the sake of Fishman Island. So those are all the roles that he plays in the world of One Piece leading up to today, and shows how well connected he is. Now we're gonna go through Jinbei's character. To start off, he's an extremely skilled fighter and helmsman. We have seen Jinbei's expertise in sailing the Sunny away from Big Mom's territory, and then now towards Wano, where he's already taken the wheel. Jinbei, take the wheel! He's a great helmsman, and he will be the official helmsman of the Straw Hat Pirates. As a fighter, he is an expert in Fishman Karate, where pretty sure he had a black belt when he was still like a teenager. He has learned the technique all throughout his life, fighting in the Neptunian army when he was young, and even before that, being the right hand of Fisher Tiger, who was like the boss of the underworld of Fishman Island. Then he sailed with Fisher Tiger, only increasing his skills as a fighter, fighting as pirates against the Marines and everything. Just his epithets, Knight of the Sea, First Son of the Sea, you don't get those epithets if you're not a force to be reckoned with. He was strong enough to be a warlord, so that's pretty impressive. We have people along those lines of Doflamingo, Boa, Mihawk, Buggy. We all know Buggy sets the standards of how strong a warlord should be, so, that's just saying just how strong Jinbei is, if he could place in the same ranking as Buggy. But we've seen him fight multiple times in Whole Cake Island and in Marineford especially, where he was proven to be very resilient and a force to be reckoned with. He went up against Mihawk. He lost, but he went up against Mihawk. He held back a Kainu, tons of feats of strength from Jinbei in Marineford, and even Impel Down, where he was introduced in the first place. Moving on to his inner workings, he's very level-headed. He really keeps his cool in tense situations and is able to see a situation from all sides, where someone might be more chaotic. Jinbei kinda knows what he's gotta do, and he does it. And the next talking point could have been a section in its own, but I want to discuss Jinbei's loyalty. His loyalty does not come easy. It was an entire thing in Marineford and Impel Down that Ace had asked Jinbei to protect his little brother if Marineford ended sour, which it did. But Jinbei had stated that even though he respects Ace and Whitebeard, just because Luffy was Ace's brother did not give Jinbei reason enough to protect Luffy with his life, to respect him as a man. Luffy had to do that on his own, which he did because he's Luffy, and but Jinbei made a point to say that it wasn't Ace asking him to that led him to protecting Luffy and respecting him. It was just Luffy's actions, which proves that he really holds loyalty and respect in a high regard. It's very important to him, and it is a essential part of his character. His loyalty comes out throughout the series, but most importantly we see it in Marineford, which I had mentioned before. He did not wish to fight against Whitebeard because he respected Whitebeard. He was loyal to him. Whitebeard had even broken through his prejudice against pirates because, up to that point Jinbei hated pirates, but Whitebeard was different because Whitebeard claimed Fishman Island as his territory so that other pirates wouldn't ruin it and mess with the way that things are and put it in danger. So Whitebeard was someone that he heavily respected, and that was a big reason why he didn't fight in Marineford, even threw away his title as warlord for his respect and loyalty towards Whitebeard. He even fought Ace for a week to defend Whitebeard's honor, and that's pretty impressive for him to go against a Fire Logia. I guess fire versus water. But they fought for, what, 10 days, 7 days? Non-stop until they both just passed out from exhaustion. Like, that is impressive. Ace was shown to be a very strong character back then, and Jinbei therefore was just as strong, and that is a feat to go against Ace for several days. Or maybe it's a feat for Ace to go against Jinbei for several days. Depends on how you look at it. His daddy issues knew no bounds. Jinbei also showed extreme loyalty to Fisher Tiger and the Sun Pirates. He joined Fisher Tiger's pirate crew even after he hated pirates and all of these things, but he still joined for loyalty to his friend who he had served as the right hand growing up, so they knew each other well. And despite his own beliefs, he also upheld the code of not killing humans that Fisher Tiger wished. And even after Fisher Tiger had passed away, Jinbei carried on that will by leading the Sun Pirates in the similar way and holding on to that belief for Fisher Tiger. And then for the Sun Pirates, Arlong had gotten captured and he was held in Marijois and was going to suffer a very similar fate to a lot of the other members of the Sun Pirates, but part of Jinbei's bargain was to set Arlong free. So even though he and Arlong hadn't gotten along, just his loyalty to the Sun Pirates as a whole showed there as he was able to free Arlong by taking the warlord position. But Jinbei's loyalty to the Sun Pirates works both ways, which just shows how great of a character that Jinbei is to earn the loyalty of them. But when the Sun Pirates had risked their lives to try and make sure that the Straw Hats had successfully escaped Big Mom's territory, Jinbei stayed behind. And so, you know, there was like, oh, I can't let you die, I have to help. Well, now I can't let you die, I have to help. So they both together helped out each other and proved that's just how loyal they are. It just adds a lot to his character to show that he was such a great captain that his crew was willing to die for him, and then he also risked his life for his crew. And we still didn't get the whole story there with Jinbei and the Sun Pirates. You know, it was stated that Jinbei was just tending to the wounded and having a little bit of a goodbye party, and that's what took him so long, but there might be more to it, I don't know. I hope he's fine. I hope that's all it is. I'm just saying. We're going into manga spoiler territory right now, so if you are an anime only and you don't want to be spoiled, go to this time code and we will continue the rest of the video spoiler free, but there was just a part in the manga that I wanted to discuss right now, so if you haven't yet, okay, we're good. Okay, so in the recent chapters, Jinbei against Who's Who showed a lot of Jinbei's frustration with how the world views fishmen and the Sun Pirates, because whether or not Sun God Nika is related to fisherman history, it was just the idea that Who's Who assumed that to be and stated that all fishmen, they're basically just a history of slavery. That really grated on Jinbei's nerves, and that is saying something that we saw Jinbei lose his cool, because as I mentioned, Jinbei's character is very level-headed, but he got pissed in this chapter. It was clear that he would absolutely not tolerate this level of disrespect from Who's Who, so he fucked him up. Rightfully so. And also, going down the path that Sun God Nika is connected to the Fishman history of the Sun Pirates and everything, it says a lot about Jinbei's character, which shouldn't be surprising, that he didn't divulge any information. He didn't confirm nor deny any information to Who's Who was very interested in it. So it was pretty cool of Jinbei to just be like, no, I'm not giving you anything. Poker face, brick fist. I love Jinbei. Alright, so with the manga spoilers out of the way, we'll continue the rest of the video without any spoilers for anime only, so welcome back. The last puzzle piece in the puzzle that is Jinbei's loyalty is that even with the Big Mom pirates, he was loyal in the sense of upholding the pirate code. When he was asked on Fishman Island by Luffy to join his crew, Jinbei said no. He said that he had things going on that he had to deal with before he could commit to Luffy and his crew. Later we find out those things were being part of the Big Mom pirates so that she would protect Fishman Island and not destroy it. She was the one who claimed Fishman Island as her territory after Whitebeard had passed away, and so in order to... what the fuck? Bug? Bitch? And in order to keep positive relations with Big Mom, he joined under her banner to serve her and, you know, keep the relations positive, like I said. And, you know, he didn't agree with the way that Big Mom ran things, and probably did not have a very nice time with the Big Mom pirates, but he still upheld the honor of a pirate crew to officially leave the Big Mom pirates before joining the Straw Hats. He could have just said, you know, like, you Big Mom, joining the Straw Hats now, peace. But it also shows his loyalty to the Sun Pirates, that he couldn't just leave them like that because they were also under the Big Mom's banner, and if Jinbei were to leave, then they would all be screwed. So he made Luffy wait until he could properly be dismissed from the Big Mom crew, which led to like the best Jinbei scene possibly ever, where he stared Big Mom down and claimed that he will not be intimidated by a mere Emperor of the Sea when his captain is gonna be King of the Pirates. Which that leads me to my last talking point about lovely Jinbei, and it's looking at everything that he has done for Luffy and how they've bonded throughout the years together, and what that means for him as a crew member now. For one, Jinbei has literally saved Luffy's life multiple times. Those are always good events to start with. The most prominent one is of course on Fishman Island, when all the fishermen and merfolk refused to give Luffy any blood because of the strict law, but even Neptune himself wouldn't do it. Like, there was a big stigma, of course, with blood transfusions and fishmen and humans. But Jinbei stepped forward and offered his blood to Luffy, so they're blood brothers, literally. And the more you think about it, and the more you have Fisher Tiger in mind about the way that he passed away, shows the significance of this event with Jinbei and Luffy, that Jinbei dismissed all preconceived notions about sharing blood with humans, like his own captain had. And he saved Luffy's life and showed to all of Fishman Island that this is not something to die for. There's much more to live for, and humans aren't all that different. Next, he broke Luffy and Nami out of jail, you know, in Whole Cake Island. Book prison that they were in on Whole Cake Island, so that saved their asses. He helped sail away from Big Mom's territory and went up against Big Mom to defend the Sunny as they were escaping. And then finally, of course, in Marineford, where he stood against Akainu. Like, full force stood against Akainu, against the Magma Fist, to protect Luffy. And then he carried him to safety all the way onto Law's crew, who had then proceeded to do surgery on Luffy and Jinbei and save their lives, but Jinbei had overall done a big part in protecting Luffy throughout the arc. I also want to point out that Luffy respects Jinbei and holds him in high regard, which, you know, Luffy comes to make a lot of close connections with a lot of people, but it's not easy to do, you know. It does say something that Luffy sees something in a character to protect and have loyalty towards, so that's definitely a two-way street. But Luffy respected Jinbei enough to honor his wishes to stay behind with the Sun Pirates, and he was like, you know what, just remember that I'm your captain now, and so even if you die, don't die. And, you know, he let Jinbei do what he did, because normally, you know, especially with like Punk Hazard and stuff, Luffy was clear that you don't leave anyone behind. But he respected Jinbei and respected his strength enough to know that Jinbei can succeed in his mission and return safely. Jinbei is also a proud member of the Straw Hat crew. He announces it in his arrival at Wano, has just been so ecstatic to join the Straw Hats officially and fight side by side. And yeah, proud member as he stared down Big Mom and did that whole thing like I was just talking about. That was a pretty cool moment. But he's clearly happy on the Straw Hat crew. And now to talk about the role that he plays and that he's played up until now with Luffy is that he's been Luffy's rock when Zoro wasn't there. But in several situations where Zoro couldn't be there for Luffy, Jinbei then stepped up and was the calming, reasonable one to keep Luffy on track, which Zoro does so wonderfully, especially pre-time skip. Jinbei gives Luffy the stability that he needs. Like, he pushed Luffy to ally with Beiji on Whole Cake Island, where Luffy definitely was not happy about it and would not have made that decision himself, but Jinbei saw the situation and knew that they needed as many allies as they could possibly get. So that's one way that he helped Luffy. He also stopped Luffy from fighting against Blackbeard in Impel Down, where Luffy was so fired up because Blackbeard was laughing in his face about how he was the one who defeated Ace and sent him off to the Marines to be executed, and now he was gonna defeat Luffy and bring his head in to the Marines, but his brother stepped up for him. He should be happy, blah, blah, you know, a bunch of shit talking from Blackbeard, and Luffy got pissed, pistoled him in the fucking stomach, but he was ready for a full-on battle in that moment, and Jinbei was the one to step in front of him and say, Luffy, I know you're angry, but now is not the time. We have to save your brother. We have to keep focused. We have to continue on our path and do what we came here to do. And so Luffy respected Jinbei even in those early stages, and he begrudgingly stepped away from Blackbeard. And now leading up to Jinbei's biggest role in Luffy's life up until now is post-Marineford, when Luffy was lost in despair about Ace. And Jinbei was the one who went and sought him in his path of destruction and denial and despair and talked him out of his own head. You know, this scene is just, it's such a turning point in the series, and it leads up from so much of Luffy's grief, from losing his crew on Sabaody and then Ace. There he was going down a dark path, and Jinbei picked him up and said, you know, what's gone is gone. You can't get back what you've lost. What is it that you still have? And that's when Luffy remembered his crew is safe, although they're not with him, and, you know, led Luffy down a brighter path towards getting stronger and focusing on what he needs to do. Again, keeping a level head, seeing the situation from all sides, and bringing that light to Luffy. Again, watch the scene again if you haven't, because I can't do it justice in blabbering about it. It's just such a beautiful moment, and that all leads into the beautiful moment of the recent anime episodes where Jinbei has returned officially as a Straw Hat member, and just like the reunion between Luffy and Jinbei as he hugs him and they're both so happy and the whole crew is happy to see Jinbei. Oh my god, almost cried. It was so cute, and Jinbei has just been such an important person in Luffy's life to save him from himself and all of this other stuff that I should wrap this up, because that's all the things that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, these recent anime episodes have just renewed my love for Jinbei. I wanted to make sure that everyone else remembered how wonderful of a character he is. He has prevalence in the manga right now and in the anime right now. He's just such a great character. So this was my Jinbei appreciation video, and I hope you enjoyed. I would like to know your all thoughts about Jinbei, and if he was a character that you fell in love with in his first introduction when he had saved Luffy after Marineford and brought him back from his despair, or are you more a recent Jinbei appreciator where his events in the manga or the anime, depending on which one you are, has renewed your love for him like it has for me? But let me know your thoughts about Jinbei, because I want to know what everyone thinks about him as a character and as a Straw Hat pirate. Again, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you liked this video. I have a bunch of other One Piece related videos, so feel free to go check those out as well. The next chapter will be out in a few days, so make sure you subscribe so you'll be notified of my reaction. I will be live reacting on Twitch, so if you're interested in that, go follow me over there, and Twitter for more One Piece, gaming, and anime content. But again, and as always, have a great day, follow your dreams, and check me next time. Bye!